Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Thank you guys for tapping in, man. Real quick, man. If you're having problems with late payments on your credit report, watch this video, okay? I'm going to be talking about just a plethora of things on how to be able to get rid of late payments, primarily talking about the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and I'm going to be talking about some more consumer law, really just one law that I want to point to when it comes to challenging the information on your credit report. All right. So if you're brand new, make sure you like the video. If you like the video, then it'll push it out to more and more people so we can help more people. But more importantly, man, it just, allows me to continue to keep dropping content if I know you guys like it. All right. Also at the same time, man, if you're brand new, go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now. So I'll give you 5 seconds to do that. All right, bet. So real quick, man, let me just pull up so we can get through this video, man. Right now it is 8:14. I don't know if I'm going to drop this directly at 8, but give me a second. 10 USC. So most people don't know that late payments are actually reporting late payments on your credit report is actually I won't say unlawful. Well, yeah, it's unlawful. All right. As a matter of fact, in the Constitution, it says it should be excluded. Okay. Another thing I'll talk about is the fact that no creditor should treat any payment as a late. Okay. So first things first, let's talk about that real quick. 15 USC 1666B. All right. Let me turn down this brightness real quick. This drain beaming in my eye. All right, that works better. All right, give me 1 second. Let me see if I can go ahead and drop this down. Perfect. You know what I mean? All right, bet. So zip this down a little bit. Okay, bet. 15 USC 1666B, you dig me, is the law that essentially says a creditor may not treat a payment on a credit card account under an open-ended consumer credit plan as late for any purpose. You dig me? Unless the creditor has adopted reasonable procedures designed to ensure that each periodic statement, including the information required, is mailed or delivered to the consumer not later than 21 days before the due date. All right. Let's see what it says about the grace period. If an open-ended consumer credit plan provides a time period in which an obligor may repay any portion of the credit extended without incurring an additional finance charge, such additional finance charge may not be imposed with respect to such portion of the credit extended for the billing cycle, blase, blase, blah. Okay, the part I want to focus on is really just this top part up here. You dig me? A creditor may not treat a payment on a credit card account under an open-ended consumer credit plan as late for any purpose. All right. Open-ended consumer credit plan. You know what I mean? Open-ended consumer credit plan is essentially a consumer credit transaction or any type of credit that is under a finance charge. You know what I mean? Give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. So boom, 15 USC 1637 open-ended consumer credit plan pretty much breaks down what a open-ended consumer credit plan. I won't dive into this law full in depth. You can go take a look at it yourself. But to make it make sense, essentially, any open-ended consumer credit plan is anything that is connected to your SSN, any loan or credit card agreement that has a finance charge, which is essentially any debt that you guys use your SSN to sign up for. You know what I mean? Now let's go back to 15 USC 1666B. The beauty about the law is the law is the law. All right. If it says a creditor may not treat a payment on a credit card account under an open-ended consumer credit plan as late for any purpose, that's what it says. All right. Now, what are the reasonable procedures? They want them to notify you by mail that something is late. But I want you to ask yourself, when a late appears on your credit report, you dig me? Do you remember getting any type of notification that you was late via mail? No, they probably just send an email. They probably just send you an update on the app and say it's time to pay, or they probably just blow your phone up and call. The only time they start to send letters is when it's time to take you, when it gets 30 to 60, maybe even 120 days late. That's when they start sending letters. Okay, and they're only sending letters to get you to default. All right, so that they can charge it off and essentially have a reason to sue you for the debt. You dig me? So if they are not telling you 21 days before they actually report the late, it is a violation of your consumer rights. You dig me? Now, that's 15 USC 1666B. You could throw this in your letters to the credit bureaus, or you can send a letter to the company, just kind of putting together your own expression of this law. And you can ask them if they ever delivered that notice to you, or if they ever delivered that disclosure to you. And, obviously, if they never send you a letter back, then you could take that evidence of them not sending you a letter back and send it to the credit bureau. All right? Or you can file a complaint with the CFPB. You feel me? I may create a separate video on that one right there. Now, let's go to the FCRA, 15 USC 1681. So y'all see me looking this stuff up so that you guys can kind of take a look at it yourself. All right? Boom, boom, boom. Definitions and rules of construction, permissible purpose of consumer reports. Oh my gosh. Okay, bet. I think it's in the definition section. Okay, perfect. This is exactly where we want to go. So this is 15 USC 1681A, essentially the first aspect of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. All right. We'll go over some of these terms here because I think it'll be some very solid information. But it says the term consumer report means any written, oral, or other communication of any information by a consumer reporting agency, not a credit bureau. Okay, because Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion are consumer reporting agencies. They are not credit bureaus. Okay. But I just want to scroll all the way down to the exclusions section. Got a little tongue tied right there. All right. It says, except as provided in paragraph 3, the consumer report does not include report containing information solely as to transactions or experiences between the consumer and the person making the report. So real quick, let me make it make sense. You dig me? When you think of a payment, all right, or even when we talk about utilization on your credit report, that is considered information that pertains to transactions or experiences between the consumer and the person making the report. Now, who is the consumer? You. Who is the person? The business. All right. If you look at the definition of person, it says any individual, partnership, corporation, trust, estate, cooperative, association, governmental, subdivision, and other entity. So a business. All right. And then a consumer means an individual. All right. I'm assuming an individual is a natural person. All right. Now, I want to bring this up because when it comes to challenging late payments, all right, most people think that it's something that you can't get removed off your credit report. But when it comes to your consumer rights, you can challenge the company on this. All right. And if you say, hey, look, when you look at the exclusion sections, and this is if you directly just challenge the late, okay? I usually do more of a shock and awe strategy where I pretty much put everything in one letter and start my dispute that way. and I challenge the court and I challenge the credit bureau on all the information on the credit report, take them through a couple of rounds, and then after a couple of rounds, if it's time to take them through arbitration, I will do that. But if not, then we just keep sending it and stuff will eventually fall off. That's just the natural way to do it. But if you wanted to make your credit repair letters much stronger, you know what I mean? You can add this information to your consumer report letter, or you can just create one letter solely for this. You can also create a letter called more of a direct to creditor letter and send a letter to that creditor or to the bank or to whoever reported the late. And you can also tell them the same exact thing. All right. Don't just send a letter to the credit bureau. Send a letter to the bank as well. Like if you truly want to get the result, send it to the credit bureau. Send it to the bank as well. All right. Let's go back a little bit. Nope, that's not where I wanted to go. Definitions and rules of construction, blah, 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 blah. Now, here's the part where, I'll just say this to kind of give you a little bit more confidence in the credit repair process, okay? Essentially, what the congressional findings is, man, 15 USC 1681, the first section of the Fair Credit Reporting Act is essentially what Congress has found, okay, about credit bureaus, and they're kind of putting a statement of purpose, like what is the purpose of this subsection, and also at the same time, what is their purpose, okay? So I'll just read this to you and kind of just break this down on how it essentially makes sense to me. Now, real quick, man, before you dive into this, this is not legal advice. I'm only saying this to educate you on what Congress has already put down, and you kind of govern yourself accordingly. You know what I mean? So the banking system, so the Congress makes these following findings, all right? The banking system is dependent upon fair and accurate credit reporting. Inaccurate credit reports directly impair the efficiency of the banking system, and unfair credit reporting methods undermine the public confidence, which is essential to the continued functioning of the banking system. All right, so right off the bat, man, it says the banks are dependent upon us. So this is why fair and accurate credit reporting is important, okay? Inaccurate credit reports directly impair the efficiency of the banking system. Why? Because it will undermine the public's confidence, all right? So if you have a credit report that essentially is keeping me from getting funding, keeping me from being able to exercise my right as a individual, as a consumer, how do the banks make money? All right. The only reason the banks are making money is because obviously they take advantage of people not knowing. But let's just say everybody knew this, then the banking system would crash. And if you speak to some people, a lot of major banks are crashing around the world and people don't know about it. Unfair credit reporting methods undermine the public's confidence, which is essential to the continued functioning of the banking system. So the banks cannot function without the public, okay? So let's talk about unfair and let's talk about accurate credit reporting, okay? Now, when something is accurate on your credit report, number one, it meets all the compliance standards, okay? And number two, it's supposed to be something that is valuable to you. If it is not valuable to you, then essentially it is not accurate, okay? So obviously, if you have a charge off in your credit report and it's keeping you from getting credit, then it is not valuable. You know what I mean? Now we go to the fairness. What is fairness? And we look up the definition of fair. Let's see. Fairness and law. Let's see. So it's a process-oriented concept that focuses on ensuring decisions are made without bias and that people are heard in the process that affects them. Hold on, let me see if I find me something. Maybe I'll go to the black law. Black law? I wonder what black law says. The level of handedness used in dispensing justice where claims are recognized in order of legal and contractual priority. Okay. Okay. So I'll just tell you my interpretation. I thought I would find something, and I may find it and may drop it down in the description, but when it comes to fairness, that means someone cannot take an unjust advantage over you, and they cannot be benefiting off of that unjust advantage, right? So if you think about it, if they're reporting your collections, if they're reporting those late payments and you're unable to do something, but they make money off of it, they are essentially benefiting off of your detriment. That seems biased, that seems unfair, and they essentially will have no reason to make money off of my information unless I consented to it. All right, and we're going to get to that as well. Now let's get to number 2. An elaborate mechanism has been developed for investigating and evaluating the creditworthiness, credit standing, credit capacity, character, and general reputation of consumer. It says elaborate mechanism. All right. So when something is elaborate, right, then, it is something that is carefully designed, pretty complex in nature. Number 3, consumer reporting agencies have assumed a vital role in assembling and evaluating consumer credit and other information on consumers. Okay, consumer reporting agencies have assumed a vital role in assembling and evaluating consumer credit and other information. I said that twice, but real quick. Vital role, okay, means important. Okay, your vitals are important. You know what I mean? Just to put in lamest terms. All right. So if they assumed an important role, all right, these are some key words that you want to tap into. Okay. So there's a need to ensure that a consumer reporting agency exercise their grave responsibilities with fairness, impartiality, and respect for the consumer's right to privacy. Boom. I'll stop right there. On the aspect of you removing your lates, 15 USC 1666B, the fact that there is they should not treat any payment as late. On the aspect of this is something that should also be excluded from the credit report if it's a transaction or an experience between the individual and the consumer and the person making the report. And then lastly, it says that the respect to the consumer's right to privacy. So if I say that this is private information, it should not be on my credit report. Okay? If I didn't consent to it, and only way for something to be consented to is if you've given someone oral or written consent. Well, primarily, if we're talking about the consumer reporting agencies, it should be written consent. Okay? If you have not given them written consent, then they should not be reporting it. Okay? Now, you'll send your letters and understand that it's not just going to come off in one letter. You complain about this and it comes off in one letter. You take them through an administrative process. And when you take them through the administrative process, then what happens is you are able to enforce these laws over a period of time. It could take 2 to 3 months. But when you have the evidence of you trying to dispute these things and they are either ignoring you, they are either not responding in a efficient way or a sufficient way, then that's where a lot of people win in consumer, using consumer law to fix their credits. Okay, so essentially, man, what I want you guys to do, man, is to get comfortable with these laws so that when you actually start to send these letters, you have confidence in the process. The second thing is, if you decide to go to court, these are some of the things that you want to know so that, when you get into a space where you are challenging this information, you know exactly what you're talking about. Now, it probably won't even get to court because once you start to send them letters and forced to go through litigation or arbitration, they may start to remove and some things may start to fall off, especially around this time of year, okay, during the holiday season. Okay, so I really want to put this video together to empower you guys to fix your credit, to empower you guys to challenge these consumer reporting agencies And if you have late payments, it can come off. All right. Now, if you need help with this, I have links down below from the Complete That Guide. You'll get access to my full course breakdown about consumer law, debt, credit repair, also at the same time, how to get funding. So it's down below, being completely transparent so you guys can be able to know what it is that you're looking at, what it is that you're getting. Tap in. Appreciate you guys for watching this video. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.